IGPP Expert Talks. I am Heena Goswami, Editorial Consultant with IGPP, Institute for Governance, Policies and Politics, New Delhi. We are here on the sidelines of an international conference being organized by IGPP in collaboration with CSSS, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, Justus Liebig University, Gießen, and German Research Foundation, Germany. The conference, Environmental Policy Discourses since the 1960s, Politics, Problems and Narratives of Environmental Policies in Europe and Asia, is an attempt to bridge narratives and inquire into the discourses of environmental policies that have governed Europe and Asia since the 1960s. Academicians, researchers, experts, and policymakers are gathered in New Delhi, and today we have with us one of the key participants of the conference, Ririn Sefsani. Welcome, Ririn. Yep. Ririn Sefsani is an activist and networking consultant. She has more than 15 years of experience in leading positions in well-known national and international development agencies such as Partnership for Governance Reform, USAID, RTI International, and Bamboo Foundation. Ririn has worked extensively upon environmental issues, gender, marine and fisheries, political parties, human rights, democracy, decentralization, and minority rights. Welcome to the IGPP Expert Talks. To begin with environmental issues, what have been some of the major determinants of environmental policies in Indonesia?
Actually, for the current regime at the moment, they have omnibus law, and the other issue to protect of environmental. Even there's not really implementing well because the focus of the government actually to have more investment and focus on infrastructure, meaning because of these two priority can be destroy a lot of forests, a lot of new mining industry, and the impact of course can be happen to the minority group who they lose their land, and many cases has happened for the human right and human right activists and human right defender, because the government not really pay attention to protect environment as well as climate change. So I would like to say regarding of the policies of Indonesian government not really have a good perspective on protection of environmental sector. Yeah.
Okay. Studies also indicate that women will bear the worst burden of climate change. What are some of the ways in which you think Southeast Asian women will be more vulnerable to climate change?
Regarding what the is it actually India also, yeah?
Yeah.
Because one of professor also mentioned that's a five problem in India, but actually also in Indonesia. For example, pollution. Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia, the most polluted city in the world few months ago, but I think still, so pollution, deforestation, and crisis of water and energy also will be happen. For example, Bali, because of Bali, one of the province for the tourist area, a lot of hotel, villa, that can reduce of the water. Yeah, that's will be pollution. Or not will be, already happened, actually, pollution, crisis of water. Yep.
You have worked extensively upon gender issues, and you also wrote about women's protest in Iran.
Mhm.
Tell us, what is it about women's clothing that tend to scare liberal regimes such as France and authoritarian regimes such as Iran?
But actually, this is quite interesting, yeah. Gender, especially women and minority group, the most affected kind of policies on environmental, for example, others policy on infrastructure or investment. And the other issues actually regarding the populism regime and conservative regime in many countries, mostly like state who have religion ideology, for example, Islam in Iran, but France is a secular country. I'm very pity as Indonesian. Indonesian not Islamic country, but the most population are Muslim. But no, not many protest action happen in Indonesia regarding what has happened in Iran. There are more than 1,500 people in prison. More than 100 people was killed by the regime, and no freedom for a journalist. But very limited action in Indonesia. So I, as a human rights activist, I did I did action demonstration in the front of the Iran embassy with others of my colleagues as a human rights activist, as well as with refugee from Iran and Afghanistan. So I asked to Indonesian government, using the power of Indonesia as the biggest Islam population in the world, please speak up to the Iran government to stop killing people, to stop shooting women, to stop kidnapping. I would like to say kidnapping, not only arrested young people, girls and women, and listen their voice, bring peace, bring democracy, and to make Iran much more better in the future, today and tomorrow and future, especially for women, for girls, for young generation in this global era. So the ambassador of Iran also inviting me to direct dialogue with them, but I say no because they're not allow others representative from Iran as a refugee to join this meeting. Then from I also will do demonstration again when I'm back to Indonesia from this conference. Yeah.
That's amazing. All the best for your demonstrations.
Thank you. So,
while we talk of Iran, even in Indonesia, provinces and cities have imposed discriminatory codes on women and girls, dressing codes, as indicated by Human Rights Watch. Do such codes effectively impact women's ability to access public places, their access to education, and their assertion of political opinion?
Yeah. Under the Human Rights Watch research, only less than 25% women in Indonesia not wearing hijab, and even they still have right to go to get education, to work in the public area, but there are a lot of social pressure from their own community or different community, but mostly because the case is from the Islam community, they got pressure. You are a woman, why you not wearing hijab? That's part of our Shariah. So God want you to wear proper clothes, meaning hijab. So better you covering all of your body with kind of, that's we call hijab. And I did advocacy for some cases like this. For example, there are a student in the senior high school. She is very smart and always many time representative from as a representative for national meeting. But some of the teacher asked her to wear hijab, and luckily she kind of brave young ladies, and her parent also supporting her. But still they got pressure and bullying from the other student and also from her teacher. And when the parent report what the case that has happened to her, the Islamic community came to the parent house. You are not kind of a good family. Why you did a protest because your daughter not wearing hijab? You are Muslim or not? I would like to say not all of the Muslim people have a very quote unquote stupid knowledge about that and very stupid action, because I still have many friends of mine who really, as Gandhi said, yesterday I went to the monument of Gandhi, and that's really touched my heart. Even though I read a lot of book of him, he said, tolerance is not enough. We should to respect. So I keep this to my heart. Yeah, tolerant to others, to different indigenous or different religion is not enough. You should to respect, and only respect can bring people together in equality. They can cooperate together, and I always wish for better place for everyone, better place for this world. Yeah. So yeah, about human and humanity, somehow not so easy to work in these issues, but we should never ever give up. Yeah. So in India as well, a lot of topic about that, conflict among others because of different religion, but as human who love humanity, we should work together. Only
True.
one God, not 7 or 100. Yeah.
True. So when we talk of Muslim women and when we talk of the pressures that they face, both from community and then government imposes these laws, restricting how they should dress. So do you think they have this double burden? Do you see some patterns in Indonesia of women facing this double burden from their community as well as from the government?
Yeah, especially this community or women, they more afraid to their community rather than with the government. Because under Indonesian constitution, there are no discrimination. Everybody equal, doesn't matter what your ethnicity, your local language, your religion, you are Indonesian. But people living in the same community or different community, and they choose to be in the one community, mostly, same religion or same ethnic. So I learned and I heard from many of those people, they're more afraid to their leader of the community rather than to the government. As well as I can see sometimes government follow what this community want. They every 2 years they have Indonesia have a human right seminar. One time I asking to several of the mayor, if there is a case to group doing a protest, one is from the minority group, one is from the majority group. This majority group 1,000 people. Here only 500 people. So where is your position? Then one of the males said, yeah, I just want to bring harmony. I will tell to the minority to be careful, better if they not do a protest. And I also will come to the majority, okay, let us talk. Oh, so you more listen to the majority, not the minority. You not give same space for them to speak up. I'm very disappointed actually, but yeah, that's happened.
Mhm. Some political commentators have also remarked that Indonesian democracy may be backsliding into authoritarianism. Is it something that you agree with? Would you like to reflect upon the status of democracy in Indonesia in contrast with other Southeast Asian nations?
Yeah, in general, I would like to say Indonesia is still much more democratic compared to other countries in Asia. You see in what has happened in Thailand or Myanmar, even Filipina. But as Indonesian, somehow I also agree with this statement because sometimes not so easy to speak up about tolerance and respect with others and limited of the freedom of speech. And in this digital era, very easy for you to arrested from the police officer if you make a statement criticize of the government. So yeah, but I still believe Indonesia as a democratic country, and even we still have to work very hard to keep this democracy in the right place. Yeah.
True. How do you think the youth can play an effective role in like shaping the discourse around religion, women, climate change, and are you hopeful for how digital media has brought people together?
Yep. Yeah. Um, for the upcoming election, this is a policy making process, and people who have a right to vote, especially Indonesian young generation, for the upcoming election quite high opportunity. For climate change, more easy for young people to understand and engage on this issue. So many young people using their social media to do campaign about climate change, the right for clean energy, the right for clean water, the right for clean air, and also the most interesting for them actually to have a clean sea. So if the Indonesian have a lot of beach and sea and very beautiful, and they again also a plastic kind of plastic in many product. So many young people use their own tumbler, for example. This is part of their campaign. But for the right of religion and minority right, still somehow not so easy because they grow up in their family who really somehow quite religious and follow the leader of the communities, and religion and minority right absolutely still very sensitive issues. So they will very carefully to talk about that. Yeah.
How does have the protest in Iran and how young women have used social media to voice out their opinion and solidarity with the women of Iran? Does that make you hopeful?
Yeah, young generation for me as a future leader. So even though they not really make a direct campaign to support Iran, but me and some of my colleagues, my friends, we did like online session for the young generation to learn about history and what has happened in Iran, not only in Iran, but Afghanistan and we bring them inside of Indonesia, what actually happened. And as a young generation, you should to learn and aware about the current situation. You cannot imagine in the future you will be faced with very conservative leader. Oh, come on, that will be very horrible. Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. I wish you all the luck